Anyways, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the whole commotion with Joe Rogan and grilling Sanjay Gupta, sorry, on his one of his latest episodes. Because well, for those of you who don't know who Sanjay Gupta is, he works for CNN. I believe he's like the medical side of CNN. Like they go through him when it comes to like speaking about like medications and stuff like that. So CNN put out a story about Joe Rogan saying how exposing how, well, not exposing, but saying how he caught COVID and was using ivermectin, which to them is just solely a horse dewormer, as a way to cope and heal from COVID. Basically what they were saying is just that you are not an animal. You should not be using ivermectin to be treating COVID. But if you listen to Joe Rogan's the clip that they use for Joe Rogan, he names about like 5 medications that he uses to cope with COVID. But they take that one drug and immediately see that it's also used for horse deworming and run an entire story on it. So Sanjay Gupta, Sanjay Gupta, that's the right way to say it. He goes on the Joe Rogan Experience, and I don't know if he expected Joe not to like grill him on it, but eventually Joe gets to it. And he says, "Yo, how do you feel about working with a company who just outright lies and says that ivermectin is solely used for horse deworming, when thousands of doctors prescribe this medication to billions of people who have contracted COVID?" At first you could tell he didn't really want to talk about it. If you haven't seen the clip, I urge you to see the clip and then come back and listen to my take on it. But you could tell he does not want to talk about the clip. And then he just, he tries to divert and say, well, they didn't necessarily say it like that. And he was like, well, yeah, I can show you. And then Jamie the God, pulls out clips, And they even show him on the clip that he put up on Instagram, Joe Rogan. They put a whole filter on him to make him look like sicker and shit, which is hilarious. It screams the propaganda that CNN throws out there. You could this is what propaganda looks like, people. When a company wants you to think a certain way, they're going to try their best to make you believe that thing in order for you to, to embed it in your head and and create that idea in your head. This is what propaganda looks like, twisting people's words, leaving out facts and just sticking to one fact instead of including all of the facts, and making the story or the narrative turn your way is what propaganda is and looks like and sounds like. So after the whole thing with Sanjay, he goes back, I think it's like the next day, to CNN, obviously, and Don Lemon tells on him and tells him like, you do understand that ivermectin is a horse deworming, primarily horse deworming. It is not said by the CDC that you can use it to treat COVID. Therefore, it shouldn't be meant for that. You shouldn't use it for that. That's basically what he meant by that. Well, that's how I took it as. So I'm sorry if that's not what he meant, but yeah. And Sanjay just quoted the CDC tweet by saying, "Oh, you know, you're not a horse, you are not an animal. Stop taking this medication," something like that. When he had the chance to just sit there and be like, "No, you know, this is something that has been prescribed by professionals, and by professionals I mean doctors, and billions of people have taken it and have gotten great results from it. So, yeah, it's not approved by the CDC, but it is showing signs of it actually working." But because, you know, you got to bend over to who pays his checks and who pays his bills every month, he's not going to give that kind of rebuttal. So instead, he was just like, yeah, you know, yeah, you're totally right. You just, you know, doubling down with Don Lemon. And it's just, it sucks to have a brother like Don Lemon be the one in the forefront to be having to like disagree with a motherfucker, like, and like to stick towards propaganda, because it's like, come on, brother, like, come on, man. You could be like Crystal and Saga and like leave that place and just create your own. You feel me? Like, you have a following. There's certain people that watch you. You can't do it yourself. But I guess it's too hard. Not a lot of people could do that. Shout out to Crystal and Saga. Yeah, it's I've seen this whole thing. I looked it up and I was just like, bro, what? This is so foolish. It's so stupid. And I say it's stupid because it's propaganda. Like, I do not fuck with propaganda. Like, before 2020, I would look at propaganda from other countries because that's where you would primarily see it. You would see it from North Korea. You would see it from other countries that have had dictatorship leaders in the past. So it's expected from these like certain communist countries and stuff like that to to literally go by propaganda day by day in order to keep their people sane as possible and like as delusional as possible. But to see it coming from our own country is like, it kind of like tells you where we're headed. And the older I get, the more I understand it. Not the use of propaganda, not that. The more I understand propaganda. Because clearly the older we're getting, the more we're starting to see it within our country, within our people. I just hope people aren't dull enough or naive enough to stick to just one group instead of looking why that group doesn't like that other group, for example. I don't know. It's a stupid analogy, but it's the one I could come up off the bat. I'm a stupid person. I didn't graduate college, so. Oh shit! I need Ivermectin. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to deal with this in the land of the free, But this is why we have people like Joe Rogan in our world, in order to be grilling motherfuckers like this and like exposing motherfuckers like this, in order for people to see. Because I'm pretty sure, I would love to see a take from somebody who used to religiously or still religiously watches CNN, and after this whole debacle, looked at both parties and both sides of the spectrum and what their final thought is about the whole situation and how their new look towards CNN is. I bet you there's motherfuckers out there that's saying that Joe Rogan has a propaganda himself and this is it. You feel me? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the thing. But it's the world we live in, y'all. That's exactly what we live in. This is the world that we live in, and we have to have these things and have people like Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle to that aren't scared to put themselves out there like that. And given that they could be missing out on a whole lot of shit if they just comply and go and get with the program. Because I'm pretty sure CNN was looking at them like, oh, look at this this fucking ape-like human, like this person who's always religiously thinking about conspiracies, and this juice head who's always in the gym and it just always tries to stay healthy and shit like that. Let's take this part of what he said and let's just make a whole story about it without possibly thinking that Joe Rogan would be all up their ass about this whole shit. Because I would too. If you're talking down and bad on my name, you best believe the next episode would be all about, or majority about. I would definitely address it in the next episode of Scary Hour. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks. Propaganda at its finest.